Alright guys, so I'm going to start out with their primer oil. I've never used it before. I'm only going to use a little bit. Doesn't Smashbox have a setting spray? Well, it's not a setting spray, it's a primer water, but I just wanted to use it. So I'm going to go in with their primer water first, and then I'm going to go in with their primer oil. No. Should I? Or should I just use regular photo finish primer? I'm just going to go in. I wanted to use the primer oil, I really did. But since I'm going to be out and about today doing errands, and actually I'm going to be on like a little mini road trip, I'm just going to go in with their primer water and then their Smashbox photo finish. So I decided to do an all Smashbox tutorial because I've been wanting to do one brand tutorials, and I decided to start with Smashbox because I actually met and worked with them, and they're a really nice company. Like, the representatives that you meet when you work with them are really, really nice people. Very, very generous. Aside from that, I like their products and I just like their brand. And they're one of those brands that I like them so much when they make a product that's kind of a miss. Like, I want to defend them. Like, don't talk about them. They tried really hard, okay? You don't know what it's like to have a makeup company. But I really like this primer. It's very smooth and it goes in, it takes out shine, fills in lines and wrinkles, and just looks really, really good. For foundation, I'm gonna go in with their Studio Line foundation, but I'm not sure which color I should go in with. I'll probably go in with 4.2. This is 4.4, and that's way too cool. And then I have 4.2. Usually when there's 3 colors for African American skin shades, now I'm the middle one. I used to be the darkest one. Now I'm the middle one. This is the darkest shade. This is the middle one. I could actually go in with either, but I am going to go in with the middle one. That is more my skin tone. And I'm going to go in and use a powder brush for this. This could be a mistake depending on how this foundation blends out. I did have a flat foundation brush for them, and this feels like a mistake. You can blend out makeup really well with fluffy brushes like this. It gives a really, really blown out, diffused kind of look. But it doesn't work with all fluffy brushes, and it's not exact. Well, you can kind of see the idea over here. And you can see how it kind of diffuses everything. So yeah, maybe I'll continue. It wasn't feeling like it was going great at first. And it really pounces in, and because there's so many brush bristles, it really gives the look of pores and blends out really, really well. They do have a flat paddle brush, but I can't find it. And I really wanted to keep everything so Smashbox that I even use their brushes. I'm gonna try and do that with most of the brands that I work with, but a lot of the brands that I work with don't make everything that you can use. Yeah, it blends out really, really nicely. Probably gonna have to go in with my Beauty Blender sponge to get between my brows and down my forehead without touching my eyebrows. Yeah, these are definitely not the tools that you use to do your foundation with. But I feel like it's more so you than the tool. A lot of time tools do make it better, and sometimes tools can make it not as good. But I feel like I could apply my makeup with a Q-tip, you know what I mean? When I hear people complain about the way their makeup came out, because these brushes suck. Oh my god, look at I'm like, do the brushes suck, or, you know, nah. But I have met brushes that are not great, that have bad cutting, that are not made from good material, or they shed a lot, or they splay the product and stuff like that. But I feel like you can really make it do what it do with things that are maybe not the best. And I'm gonna use my Beauty Blender in a few, just to make sure everything is completely blended out. I like the way it wears. I've been wearing foundation, Lancome foundation so often, forever, that I don't very often try new foundations. Like, if you follow me on Snapchat, you'll see that I was in the drugstore and I was just like, oh my God, because Maybelline has a foundation cushy thing, and a couple other brands have like some highlighting and contouring stuff out that looks kind of promising. I haven't really been on my drugstore game that hard because it's easy to become a makeup snob. But I was in there today like, okay, I'm definitely gonna wait one nice late night and go down to the 24-hour CVS and take my time and dig through and see what's going on. I generally get sent a lot of drugstore promos and stuff like that, but I've seen some stuff that I haven't been sent. But I did receive a package from L'Oreal today that I didn't open. I'm definitely gonna go check that out and see what's up. But the stuff that I seen that I was excited about was Maybelline, so I was just like, okay. As for concealer, I'm now gonna go in with the Studio Skin Concealer, and I'm pretty sure that I have one more of these that's missing in action somewhere. I know that I have one more shade. Like, I don't feel like either of these are gonna be good for, there you go, highlighting, and it is. This is color dark, and then this color is deep. I don't know how deep is, I don't know how dark is deeper. I don't know how deep is darker than dark, but either way, I'm gonna mix them both and I'm gonna apply them with my Beauty Blender sponge. I'm not even gonna play games with my concealer. So this is dark that I'm going in with. Oh yeah, it's not as light as it looks in the tube. It's actually, I don't think I'll probably have to mix it. But I do want to see how the other one plays out as well. Yeah, that actually wears really nice. This is their Smashbox color correcting stick, and this one is in Look Less Tired Dark. And I'm gonna go into the few little spots that I have darkness that shows through, and I'm going to just brighten it a little bit. I have stuff in my hand just in case you guys were wondering, well, why don't I put something down? And I'm adding a little bit of the brightening color just to bring out the hollows in my face and really kind of give me a highlight. I like the texture and consistency of these and how they work together with the foundation, not the foundation, but with the concealer, because I did just like layer in and do like 3 things at once, but it was a test. I just wanted to see how it would work. Hey, Delonda. Delonda, yes. Yeah, so I just wanted to see how that would work out, and it worked out really well. And now just blend everything. And you see how that's such a good orange that there's no orange sitting on my face, and I didn't even go in and apply like powder or concealer on top of it. This orange works really well, blending out the darkness and getting rid of this, not sallow, the kind of like grayish blue tone that comes from lack of pigmentation and hyperpigmentation. Because around my mouth, it's not hyperpigmentation, it's like melasma. It's like lack of pigmentation. Not that that's what melasma means, but that's how I describe it. There's like a lack of pigmentation around my mouth. Hyperpigmentation on my cheeks, but that orange works great for both. It works great for like a tired look, and it works great for an overly pigmented situation. Got a couple little brush hairs. So I'm just going in lightly and just using the little bit of concealer, not only to blend out product, but to kind of take down if there's an extra node of orange or anything like that, just to take it down just a tiny bit. So the foundation is pretty much done. I absolutely love it. I think it looks great. Now I'm gonna go in and set. So the setting powder that I'll be using is their Smashbox Halo Hydrating Powder in dark. I like that they use a lot of hydrating products. because your skin can be oily and still be dehydrated. Hydration has to do with water and not oil. And I think a lot of people think, my skin oily, I don't need hydration. And it's like, it's water. Actually, most oily skin is dehydrated. So yeah, I'm gonna just take it. I have on a white shirt, which is nerve-wracking. And I'm just gonna dust that all over. So now I'm gonna go in and highlight my face, and I'm going to be using their Fusion Soft Lights Highlighting and Baked Starburst. Super pretty. I'm gonna go in with a Smashbox fan brush to apply it. And I'm gonna take all the tones pretty much and then just sweep them across my cheekbones. I will say that this is more of a subtle highlighter. So if you like a wet highlight glow kind of look, this is not gonna be the one for you, but it does really give a nice, like, kind of subtle natural glow. And I have another one in another shade that I might whip out in a few. Okay, so let's get into these eyes. I don't want to keep you guys forever. So first off, I'm gonna go in with the Smashbox Bold palette. I believe this is Bold. Bold. I got it right the first time. So I'm gonna go in with the Smashbox Bold palette. And I like this palette because I feel like it is a transition color paradise. But you can use the yellow to up the orange, and you can mix this red and yellow and make your own shade of orange, which I like. And I like blue, purple, and green. These are like the only other colors that I use in my eye looks. So yeah, so we're gonna go in. My eyelids are pretty much already primed. I don't want to put anything else up there because I already put foundation and concealer and powder and everything like that. So that's like a good situation to hold on to some eyeshadow. The only way I'd probably prime again is on my lid, is if I'm using something glittery, something that has fallout, or something that needs to be metallic looking or foiled. So I'm gonna go in with the orange and a smidge of yellow, like orange, 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 smidge of yellow, orange, 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 smidge of yellow. Just because I want my crease to be really, really warm, because everything else is gonna be, I want it to be, well, it's kind of daytime, so I'm trying to actually think if I should do that look and then go run errands. But I could do this look for you guys and then wash my face. Or I could be out with a death black smoky eye, either way. I'm just gonna go in and just blend that out. I'm gonna keep most of the intensity out here and blend it out and up. I don't want this orange to go too high, but I do want this orange and this yellow to supersede the other colors in my eye look. I don't want them to be too stacked. I don't want them to get muddy. And I don't want the deeper colors to come as high as my transition colors. I also don't want the deeper colors to cover my transition colors. You all know that by now. And I don't want my transition colors to be so far under my brows that my brow highlight doesn't have a chance to flex. And I didn't even do a brow highlight today, so I might stop right now and do my brow highlight, because I didn't do a brow highlight yesterday until like the last minute, and I was like so sad the whole time looking at my makeup, like, why don't I like it? Why do I suck now? I like to keep my brow highlight somewhere within my skin tone range or whatever other concealer that I used. Not too bright. My brows are peeling from the micro blading, and it's taking a lot for me not to pick it. Like, I'll take cuticle scissors and cut the flakes off that are like popping up, because I'm like, it looks crusty. It looks unkempt and it looks crusty, but it's okay. So yeah, we'll do that. I'm gonna do this one now before I forget. And sweep it down, just so when you go to lay your transition color, this one comes first in the order of operations. Back to this orange. I want it to be like orange in this crease. And then just take a little bit of the yellow and then the orange, and then come in here and like kind of windshield wiper it. It'll give it a little bit of a softer effect, especially if you're not deep, really dark skinned. The orange around your eye could give you a little bit of a I'm sick kind of look. But it can also be very fashionable, so you be the judge. If you're lighter complected or if you're non-black, you can go in with like a little bit of like a tanny taupey kind of color and kind of blend out your orange if you are not feeling the kind of orangey look. Just come in here and blend all that out, right? So now I'm gonna go into the full exposure palette, and I'm gonna go in with this dark brown here, and I'm going to bring it lower than my oranges in my outer V, and also through my crease. I went in with a smaller blending brush. Now I don't want this to pass the orange, and I don't want it to be so on top of the orange that it creates a mud. It needs to go from like a black to dark brown to orange to like a creamy yellow to the highlight beige to a tiny bit of golding right here. That gives you like distinct eyebrow, like kind of look. We just want to blend it upward once we have less product, and then kind of take this and blend this inward, kind of like feather it like in, smoke out the edges where that orange and that brown meet, go back in with more brown. So now I'm going into this dark black. I'm going into this black from the full exposure palette, and I'm gonna have to change brushes in a second because this is gonna get, and I'm just sweeping it into like a third of my eye and then really blending. So now I'm going in and kind of merging this black, brown, and the orange and the yellow a little bit, and blending it. Some people like to keep it a little bit harsh. Some people like to blend it. I'm a blender, and if you're going there and blending and you're getting scared because it's not blending, or it's I don't know, maybe you're scared, you don't know what color to go in and blend. Maybe you tried to go in with brown and it like masked everything, or you went in with orange and now everything looks stupid. Try a translucent powder. Like a lot of times I'll just go in with a clear powder, even like baby powder or something. Don't use baby powder, but you know what I mean. It'll go in and help those powders to like mix around without muddying it up with a particular color, whatever the case may be. So now I'm gonna go in with Quartz, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wet my brush a tiny bit because that is a sparkly shade and gives me the impression that it'll look really good moist. Yeah, it's really pretty. Oh, something in my eye. So this is Quartz, and then from the full exposure palette, I'm gonna go in with S5. I believe it's S5, and it's a shimmery tone. It's very similar to Quartz, except for it has a little bit more glitter. And I'm gonna press that over Quartz, and it's very, very subtle. It's very subtle. I'm gonna go back in and adjust my crease work as well, and also adjust my black. But I wanted to make sure that it was on there. So now I'm gonna go in with a pencil brush in black, and I'm going to readjust the black work and then blend, and then also kind of go in here and define this little crease area without making it too cut. And now I'm gonna go in with this fluffier blending brush and kind of like blend that out a little bit. And I'm going to just kind of try to smoke that out. I am gonna go in and put a tiny bit more quartz up there because I have the black coming in. I'm gonna do a line going straight. It's gonna be a cat eye, but it's gonna be more like a Japanese cat eye. And for the bottom, I think the bottom is going to be really important because the bottom is going to really make the top look cool. And what I'm going to do is go in with this peachy I'm sleepy. Okay. I'm going in with this dark brown from the Full Exposure palettes to do my contour because as you can see, I've done both eyes and I'm about done.